Hello, and welcome back to MoJo JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the one and only Powerpuff Girls / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
This week we are discussing the final episodes of the Powerpuff Girls Season 3, which are called Moral Decay and Meet the Beatles. So next episode, we will be discussing the second half of JoJo Part 3, just letting y'all know. Before we get into discussing these episodes, though, just a reminder to, if you haven't already, to follow / subscribe to the podcast and leave us a comment or a review if you haven't already. It would really help us to get the pod out there to more people.
And you can check us out at our other podcast, What We Pod in the Shadows, where we just finished season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows. So next time we'll be starting to discuss season 4, and you can check us out there. And it's a really fun show about vampires that live in Staten Island.
Yeah, if you'd like to see some vampires who are significantly less evil than Dio, that might be the show for you.
Did you have news?
I think they have now shown the prototypes or designs for the Part 3 Joseph and Dio Funko Pops.
With Joseph having a defined booty.
I tried to see if there was a back view. But they have some of the way they have all the shading and cross hatching around their faces.
I'm just kidding.
I know you are, but
his booty.
I'm going to start talking about moral decay. The girls do chores around the house and have been promised a special surprise from Professor when they finish. They eagerly show him how well they've cleaned up, and he's so impressed that he's decided to give them a Sacagawea coin as reward to teach them the value of $1. Bubbles and Blossom are excited, but Buttercup loses her shit because she's so hyped and goes on an almost MoJo JoJo-esque rant about how excited she is to finally have some spending power. She's so excited, in fact, that she accidentally punches Bubbles, knocking out one of her teeth. Buttercup apologizes profusely, but Bubbles and Professor tell her it's okay because it wasn't on purpose. Bubbles thinks that maybe Professor can put the tooth back in, but he says there's something else she can do instead and has her put her tooth under the pillow. The next day, Bubbles wakes up shrieking because she's so excited to have found another Sacagawea coin under her pillow. She explains that Professor told her about the Tooth Fairy and that if she leaves a tooth under her pillow, she'll get money for it. And then Blossom's like, wow, the more teeth you lose, the more money you get. This inspires a money-hungry Buttercup to keep attempting to knock out more of Bubbles' teeth. She hits her sister in the face with a door, smashes her head into a table, and just, hits her a couple of times in general.
Yeah, that part was kind of mean.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that. Professor tells her he knows that she's the toughest fighter, but under no circumstances is she to knock out either of her sisters' teeth. However, the girls get called about stolen electronics and a bank robbery, and Buttercup knocks out the thief's teeth and decides to keep those under her pillow. She gets another Sacagawea dollar coin for each tooth she knocks out, and soon there's a montage of Buttercup and Co. answering the hotline, Buttercup knocking out the villain's teeth, including a giant lizard monster, and getting more and more Sacagawea dollars, which she puts in an increasingly heavy bag under her side of the bed. We cut to the dentist, where MoJo is getting his teeth fixed because of Buttercup's rampage. In the waiting room are various other recurring villains, including him and the Gangrene Gang, all of whom are suffering tooth pain because of Buttercup. MoJo very lispily rants about Buttercup knocking out all her teeth and says something must be done about it. At home, the hotline rings and Blossom and Bubbles answer. Blossom says something like, "Oh no, someone's robbing the museum of their collection of pearly whites." And Buttercup eagerly flies off to the museum with her sisters, no doubt hoping to snag some more teeth. And then it is revealed that the mayor was not the one on the phone with them, but MoJo. When Buttercup gets to the museum, she is surrounded by all the villains whose teeth she knocked out, and they want revenge. Blossom and Bubbles refuse to help her, saying an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and the villains descend on her. We cut back to the dentist's office where a very frazzled-looking Buttercup sits in the waiting room with her sisters and Professor. She smiles and her teeth are all jacked up. Professor's like, "Well, Buttercup, I think you learned a very valuable lesson about the value of $1, and produces her money sack. "This should about cover your dental bills," he says, and Buttercup sadly trudges off to the dentist's office. This is not really an episode I super enjoy. This is not an episode that is super enjoyed by Powerpuff Girls fans in general. It just feels like we were talking about before the pod, I feel like Buttercup can be very, rude and abrasive and shit, but, this is just going out of her way to be super mean just so she can get some money. So, I don't enjoy it. It's not a favorite of mine.
I'm sure they've probably knocked people's teeth out before, though. I don't know.
I mean, probably. This may have been before they learned the tooth fairy, but
I just think it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's just one of those episodes, I'm gonna go blank. I don't know, where one of them goes overboard about something.
yes.
To just kind of suddenly make her money hungry, I guess. But I kind of thought it was funny or clever, they're gonna go around and, I don't know, knock people's teeth out. But, I mean, they're beating them up anyway, but they could just get cash from it. I don't know, because she was saying she wanted to save up for a punching bag. This is the first money that they've ever had.
Yes.
I mean, maybe I kind of blame Professor a little bit, or even the whole town for not, paying them.
Pay the children. Pay the children for their time and ass kicking.
I mean, I didn't like her, doing stuff to Bubbles. But, and maybe to just beat people up that weren't doing anything wrong to get their teeth, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, a lot of times they're just beating the snot out of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's, super out of character for her.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, it seemed like then she's just, specifically, going out of her way to then, "Oh, I'm gonna fight them already? Well, might as well go for the teeth." I guess I hadn't realized it was, so early in the show's run. This is another one where I was I thought maybe it was a season 5 or 6 episode where there's just there's a couple good ones in those seasons, but a lot of them are not great. I'm oh, this was only in season 3.
It just kind of seems like I said, they just kind of a similar storyline to some other episodes that they've done where it's just it's Buttercup's turn to kind of be I can't think of specific examples right now of what I'm talking about, but they'll take it's kind of a very special Bubbles episode or a very special Blossom episode where they kind of do something wrong.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's on that type of theme. And then, so they're just making it about, that she's money hungry and knocking out teeth, but it's kind of like the candy one, I guess, or, sometimes they just take stuff too far, and then they have superpowers, and,
As for me, one of those types of episodes is like, I think it's that one, it's Bubble Vicious, where they keep underestimating how tough Bubbles is, so then she decides to become hardcore. I feel like that one is just like written in a way that's like funnier and more charming, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like one note, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess, and then to kind of have the girls then allow the villains to kind of knock out Buttercup's teeth too.
Yes, I don't like that aspect
That
either.
kind of twist. I'm not sure why someone didn't notice earlier, because like at one point, she even had like a monster tooth
Yeah.
under her pillow, and it was like huge.
Yeah.
And the money, like even though it's like all of them were fighting, she would take the teeth, put them under just her pillow, and then she would just keep the money for herself.
Yeah.
She was kind of keeping it a secret from the other girls.
I almost think maybe instead of just letting the villains wail on her, that maybe they found her secret tooth money stash and that she had to like give that up to pay for like the villains' like dental care.
Yeah, because she had to use all that money to fix her teeth, but like, what about their teeth?
Yeah.
And then she didn't, I don't know how much her punching bag cost, but she didn't get to spend it. So maybe even just if like, oh, I got $4 and then I went and bought this thing and I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just like, Buttercup will hoard these like tiny dragons.
Or maybe because like originally they got the money for cleaning and like Buttercup didn't really want to do it because she's like, it's just gonna get dirty again. But maybe she could have been, I don't know, like just like skip the whole tooth thing, but like I don't know, where she's like going around town looking for chores to do and getting paid or something. She's
Yeah.
got like a little odd jobs or something.
Yeah, like that one episode of The Simpsons where like Bart does a bunch of odd jobs to like save up for a comic book. Yeah, or like maybe she wants to do like a bunch of these odd jobs, but like she just like really half-asses.
It's just kind of weird how it's introduced. Like she gets excited about the coin from Professor, but then they kind of pivot to like getting money from the Tooth Fairy. It's kind of two different things.
Yeah.
It's like it could have just been the whole tooth thing and not the chores at the beginning. I don't know. Is that like a horrible idea or like horribly written? But I think it could have been fleshed out better.
Yeah, I think you could use editing.
And then I'm not sure, like, when they get to the museum and then it's just like Blossom and Bubbles kind of turn on Buttercup. Like, when did they realize that that's what she'd been doing all along and decide to just let her
Yeah.
get her teeth busted out by all the angry villains?
I knew there was the call on the hotline that was really from MoJo. So I don't know if like he explained this to them, but then like they played it off like there's an actual.
But why would they go along with it though?
I don't know.
I don't know. They should have had them catch her, like, getting the money from under her pillow or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so both these episodes aired February 9th, 2001. This next one is Meet the Beat-Alls. There's a lot of, like, references to the musical group, the Beatles. I'm not going to list them. Like, you can look it up. I'm sorry.
Like the whole episode is basically one giant Beatles reference. If we like tried to list all the references, we would be here all day.
Yeah, and if you know the Beatles, even just like a tiny bit, or like the names of their songs, or the lyrics of their songs, or even like a general history of the Beatles, you will pick that up. And it's kind of like if you don't know any of that, like, why does it matter? Not to be rude, but like, I don't know. apparently, like, some of the writers or whatever are Beatles fans. I'm just not sure, like, why you would bring that into the Powerpuff Girls, per se.
I'm not sure. But then they're also like, we're going to put a bunch of Big Lebowski references in here.
I can see putting, like, a reference, but to make the entire episode about it, I just don't. Like, if it was something maybe happening, like you took say a plot from a current group or like TV show or movie,
Yeah.
and for that time, for like 2001 or 2000, whenever I know when it aired, but they probably made it back in 2000.
Yeah.
Like something like that. I'm just not getting them doing a thing about the Beatles. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a Beatles enjoyer, so I'm just like,
I mean, I kind of like the Beatles. I know that there's some things that are problematic, although if you went to any musical group from like the 60s and 70s, you would probably find some crap about them that's not great.
Yeah.
Because men who tour and shit tend to womanize and what have you and do drugs and ruin their kids' lives. And
I probably would legit fight John Lennon if he were still alive.
Okay. We might be going a little far here. Okay, so let me just get into it. I guess. I hope this is like makes sense because I'm just like I was kind of like, what is happening here? MoJo, him, Fuzzy, and Princess all decide to stop the Powerpuff Girls on the same night. They all meet outside the Utonium household after bedtime. So kind of like accidentally. MoJo and him start bickering when Princess reveals that her superpower is cold hard cash. They all start bickering again when the girls come out their windows and tell them to be quiet, that they will fight them in the morning. MoJo, him, and Princess simultaneously shoot lasers at them. I think that's what happened. The girls scream as they are forced to the ground, and Fuzzy throws a huge boulder on top of them. The four villains are flabbergasted that they defeated the girls. So it's kind of like they needed all four of them for it to work.
Yes.
Like the three laser beams at them, and then the final fuzzy boulder thrown on top of them is why they were defeated. So it had to be all four. Princess says they should join forces, and MoJo says they should call themselves the Beat Alls. I think him originally said something about the Silver Beatles, which is another original Beatles reference. Cue the montage of them taking over Townsville like they are the singing group The Beatles when they first became popular. The girls tried to stop them but were defeated over and over, so they stopped trying and the Beatles took over the city. So like kind of like the British invasion. I don't know, like they were screaming teenage girls and shit. Like that's their parallel. Except in this case, they are like robbing and doing whatever they want to because Powerpuff Girls are not stopping them. They become Townsville's most wanted. The police chief, Sergeant Pepper, asked for help. Professor shows the girls a newspaper article about the Beatles committing another crime and that the girls didn't even try to stop them. He told them that they couldn't just stop helping and that they might be defeated if they broke up the group. So again, it's like the Beatles and like the group supposedly breaks up because of Yoko Ono, which is really only partially true. Like they were kind of not getting along before she came along.
Yeah.
But anyway, they go to rob a bank, but someone was already doing it. A lady chimp named Moko Jono. MoJo reckons he's in love and that they should try out some of Moko's ideas. She is a performance criminal. She seems to only screech, not speak English, which is again them making fun of Yoko not being able to sing or something. I don't know. They all lay in bed in the middle of traffic to annoy drivers. They steal milk, flour, light bulbs, and eggs, and TP toilet paper because it's not illegal to steal all white items. I don't know. I have a question mark with that.
Yeah, I didn't really get that either.
Okay. MoJo and Moko scream and wail out in public, and him, Princess, and Fuzzy have had it, so they quit. The mayor calls the hotline about them destroying Townsville on top of a building, and the girls are able to defeat them and throw them in jail, with MoJo missing. So because there wasn't that third laser beam shooting at them, it needed to be all four to defeat the girls. The girls catch up with MoJo and Moko and bring out zookeeper Judy, where Blossom says, "Hey, Jude," who reveals Moko is really Michelle. She's just like a chimpanzee from the zoo who's really well trained, I guess, who agreed to help because MoJo gives monkeys a bad name. The girls cart MoJo off to jail, and he's sad because they took his love away. And they kind of had like MoJo and Moko all in white. I mean, it's just like different stuff that like the Beatles did. Kind of. I mean, the Beatles didn't perform a crime spree, but it's just, yeah. I feel like he could still date the monkey, but I guess she doesn't actually really like him.
Yeah, I think the zookeeper lady said that she hates him because he's always trying to destroy the city.
Yeah. I hate to just be like rude about the episode. Like, I think they could have done it without, like, I'm not sure why they were the Beatles. I don't know.
It might have been funnier if it was a little more subtle and not like half the dialogue was Beatles lyrics.
Yeah, it was just like too in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not crazy that they all teamed up. There has been some team ups before, like even like just MoJo and Princess before to try to defeat the girls.
Yeah. I love a good villain team up.
And I guess there's been some times before when the girls have kind of retreated and not been able to defeat someone. It was the one with where he had the kid, the smoochy kid with the cooties.
Cootie Gras.
Yeah, where they didn't even try to stop Mojo. I mean, I'm not sure why they didn't figure it out before to just like separate them.
Yeah.
Might have almost been funner if they did just go all out and like had them be a musical group.
Maybe.
They kind of stopped short at that.
Yeah.
Or like they became a musical group and the town like kind of enjoyed them and didn't care if they maybe did crimes. Because it's like, ooh, we like the music.
Yes. For me, another factor I didn't super enjoy. And I'm not a Beatles enjoyer. I've just kind of like picked up here and there like shit about them. But I guess it's kind of like I feel like it kind of perpetuates like that Yoko Ono is the reason the band broke up, and I feel like a lot of that is just like racism and misogyny. And so I didn't care for that.
I guess, yeah. They could like kind of make. I mean, I know Mojo's a monkey, but they like make her a monkey too. And like then it's like she couldn't even speak Moko.
Yeah.
And then there was just all the screeching, like just like I don't know. It was sort of cute in a way that Mojo like had a girlfriend and they were in matching outfits.
Yeah.
That part was kind of cute. Like again, like they either needed to go all Beatles and like maybe made them like a musical group or something. I don't know, or just like you said, made it a little like more subtle.
Yeah.
It was just like a little much.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just didn't like what they were like, they're parodying like a musical group and to kind of just go with like the action comedy aspect, I guess. Maybe that kind of like clashes. I don't know.
Just a kind of like the rise and fall of the Beatles in a 20-minute Powerpuff Girls episode.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure, like, that any of the characters, like him, Fuzzy, Princess, really correlated with like the other members of the Beatles either. Like that there were, I think Fuzzy plays like banjo or something, but nobody else. I don't know. Like maybe I'm taking it too literally, but just like I don't. And then who would their enemy, like the Powerpuff Girls, who would their enemies be that would correlate to the Powerpuff Girls? Like,
I guess it kind of also just like seems weird to have it like like say the target demographic is like 7-year-olds in 2001. I'm not saying 7-year-olds don't know who the Beatles are, but like, would they know all this shit? Probably not.
Thinking that they probably don't know who the Beatles are. Like, I get having inside jokes for like the parents and stuff, but it's just like they beat you over the head with it.
Yeah.
This episode. So yeah, I'm not sure that it's kind of very different from the like kind of like their normal episodes, but I'm just not sure it's like it makes sense.
Yeah. It's not like a tone shift that makes sense or parody that makes sense in the way like do on like other shows. Like I don't know. I feel like a good example is like the paintball episodes on Community, but they're kind of like riffing on like a specific genre of film. While also just being a silly paintball fight taking place in a community college.
Like they made this the season finale too. Like maybe if they'd been in the middle of the season, and I don't know. I honestly think it could have been fun maybe if they did just like make them like pop stars or something.
Yeah.
The rise and fall of Backstreet Boys, or I don't know. New Kids on the Block. The Beatles, it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Yeah, maybe it might have made a little bit more sense if it was like a band that was like a little bit more recent to the time period.
Like more bubblegummy. Like Beatles is like a little too serious.
Yeah. Like this is like 30 and 40 years ago. As opposed to like this is a band from the 90s.
Because like if it were like the Rolling Stones, like would that make any sense? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that like it. I mean, like some of the twists were sort of clever, but it almost needed to be like one of the longer episodes or something, and maybe it could have worked better. And like, I honestly think like I said, they should have had them like playing music or something. Like, just go all the way. Put him on drums or something. I don't know. And then, like, their little albums could fly through the air and like different things could have occurred. I don't know.
I'm almost like even the goddamn musical references in JoJo are more subtle, and they'll be like, "This is my stand Red Hot Chili Peppers."
But I mean, that you were seeing it throughout.
Yeah,
I think maybe they did they have referenced the Beatles before though, right? In the Powerpuff Girls,
probably.
I know like they've done like Star Wars, but I don't know.
Like Star Wars is, I don't know, maybe a more timely or timeless reference because it's like a classic movie.
When they talk about it though, like it was made for kids.
Yeah.
Whereas like the story of the Beatles,
yeah.
like their first album or whatever was like pretty poppy, bubblegummy, but after that it's like just doesn't really make sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even just the story of the band itself doesn't really make sense to put as a Powerpuff Girl episode.
Yeah. Maybe also I would have liked it more if they went more in like a Venture Brothers like type parody direction where they're like, these are like Beatles inspired villains. I don't know. Or like this one is this reference to this song. And then they based like their power set on that.
Just like a whole new maybe this is what you mean, but like it's a whole new set of villains.
Yes, yeah.
It's not MoJo, him, Fuzzy, and Princess, but
yeah. Like this was like a one-off character in Venture Brothers, but it was like they had like a Freddie Mercury supervillain, and he was Mr. Fahrenheit, the Supersonic Man.
yeah,
like from like Don't Stop Me Now, and I thought that was hysterical.
Or even if they just, I know MoJo kind of went into John Lennon mode, but they didn't really do it with the other three.
Yeah.
It didn't turn him into, I don't know. I'm not even sure who would correlate to what. I guess that's the part that doesn't make sense to me, but.
Yeah. I don't sort of know what the feudal's personalities are like enough to be like, yeah, could have been. Except for maybe, like, I guess Ringo, because I'm just like, he's just a weird little guy.
Supposedly. Like Goofy, I guess. Goofy when they first came out, but I think he's like well respected now, but it's just like
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of supposing. I don't know what the thought process was behind it, but because like the whole them in the street, like in the bed, was like for peace or something. It was like a sleep-in or a lay-in or I don't know,
Yeah.
like a protest for peace. It's like, and I think all the white items had to do with the White Album, but I don't know. I kind of look like on the wiki, like a lot of people like this episode, so I feel like I'm alienate people by being like, I just think a lot of it, well, just like I don't get how the Powerpuff Girls really correlate, but then also like them making, I understand MoJo is a chimpanzee, but making Yoko Ono a chimpanzee and then just having her screech
Yeah.
was pretty rude.
Yes. I think we are going to end our discussion here. Tune in next time when we go back to the second half of JoJo Part 3. In the episodes we are going to be discussing there are Iggy the Fool and Gebs in Duel Parts 1 and 2. So tune in for some more JoJo.
And I mean, if you guys out there disagree with us about these two episodes, like write us a review or get on the social media because we're on Facebook, etc. How do you feel about them?
Yeah.
Maybe you can change our minds. Or give us a different point of view that how we should be viewing these episodes, but
Alright, so until next time, I'll be the roundabout. Goodbye.
goodbye.